Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be taking a deep dive into the world of OSINT, or open source intelligence, by looking at a very interesting tool available for Kali Linux called GhostTrack. Now, before we type a single command into our terminal, we need to have a serious conversation about the nature of this video. This tutorial is strictly for educational purposes and for ethical hacking and security auditing. The goal here is to understand how information gathering works so that you can better protect your own privacy and understand your digital footprint. We do not support or condone using these tools to stalk, harass, or invade the privacy of individuals without their explicit consent. We are white hats here, so let's keep it ethical. So what exactly is GhostTrack? In the vast landscape of information gathering, you usually have standalone tools for everything. You might have one tool for tracking IP addresses, another for looking up phone number details, and a third for scraping social media usernames. GhostTrack attempts to be a unified solution. It's a Python-based script that consolidates these functions into a single, easy-to-use interface. It's useful for red teamers who need to perform reconnaissance on a target to verify identity, or for privacy enthusiasts who want to see just how much of their own data is publicly exposed. Let's get into the installation. I am running this on Kali Linux, which is the standard environment for this kind of work. But since it is a Python script, it should theoretically work on most Linux distributions, provided you have the dependencies installed. First, you need to open up your terminal. We're going to grab the repository directly from GitHub. The command we're using is git clone, followed by the URL, which is github.com/huntbits/ghosttrack.git. Once you hit enter, it will pull the files down to your machine. Next, we need to move into that directory. So type cd GhostTrack and hit enter. Now, this is a step a lot of beginners forget, and it causes errors later. We need to install the requirements. The developer has provided a text file for this, so type pip3 install -r requirements.txt. This ensures that all of the Python libraries the tool relies on, like the requests module or formatting tools, are installed and ready to go. Finally, to launch the tool, we use the command python3 GhostTR.py. Make sure you use the capital G, T, and R, as Linux is case sensitive. Once the tool loads up, you'll see a nice ASCII art banner and a simple numeric menu. This is what I like about GhostTrack. It doesn't overcomplicate the interface. You have options for the phone tracker, IP tracker, and username tracker. Let's start by looking at the phone tracker, which is option number 2 on the menu. This module is designed to scrape information regarding a specific mobile number. Now, when you enter a number here, you typically want to include the country code to ensure the tool searches the correct region. As you can see on the screen now, I'm running a test number. I have blurred the actual output information here for privacy purposes because, as I mentioned, we respect data privacy on this channel. But generally, what this tool is looking for is the carrier information, the location of the service provider, and whether the line is active. It's essentially querying public databases and HLR lookups to validate the SIM card details. It's a quick way to verify if a number is a real physical line or perhaps a VoIP number, which is common in phishing attacks. Next, let's move on to the username tracker, which is option number 3. This is a classic OSINT technique, often referred to as social enumeration. The idea is that most people reuse the same username across Instagram, Twitter, GitHub, and dozens of other sites. I'm typing in a target username now. Now, a heads up here, I've actually paused the recording for a moment and skipped ahead because this process can take a lot of time. The tool has to send requests to dozens of different websites to check if that username returns a 200 OK status or a 404 not found status. In the clip you're seeing, it doesn't show the hits immediately, but I can confirm that it is working in the background. If you try this yourself, just be patient. It's not frozen, it's just combing through the internet. This is a powerful way to build a profile on a target by connecting their digital identities across different platforms. Finally, let's look at the IP tracker. Now, standalone IP tracking usually only gives you the ISP location, which isn't always accurate. However, in the GhostTrack menu, you can actually combo this with a tool called Seeker. If you select the IP tracker option, it gives you standard geolocation data: country, city, ISP, and zip code. Again, looking at the screen, I've blurred the specific IP details to protect the privacy of the network I'm testing. But the real power comes if you use this in conjunction with the Seeker. While GhostTrack gives you the IP data, Seeker can help host a fake page that, if clicked by a target, requests GPS permissions. If you combine the rough location from the IP tracker with the precise location from a tool like Seeker, you get a much clearer picture of the target's location. So why does this matter? Why do we learn to use tools like GhostTrack? It's not to spy on people, it's to understand how fragile our anonymity is. By running your own username or phone number through these tools, you can see what a potential attacker sees. If your username easily links your professional LinkedIn profile to a forum where you post personal details, that's a security risk. If your phone number reveals your exact carrier and city, that's data that could be used for social engineering or SIM swapping attacks. To wrap this up, GhostTrack is a solid entry-level OSINT tool. It aggregates 3 distinct tracking methodologies into a single, lightweight Python script. It's easy to install, as we saw, with the simple git clone and pip install commands, and the menu system is intuitive enough for beginners to navigate without getting lost in command line arguments. Remember, the effectiveness of these tools depends on the data available publicly. If a target has good privacy hygiene, these tools will return very little, and that's the state you want to be in. Go ahead and clone the repo, try it out on your own information, and see what you find. It's a great way to practice your Linux terminal skills and get a feel for the investigative mindset required in cybersecurity. That's going to be it for this video. If you found this walkthrough helpful, or if you have any issues getting the dependencies installed, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content on Kali Linux, ethical hacking, and digital privacy. Stay safe, stay ethical, and I'll see you in the next one.